Welcome to a behind-the-scenes look of horse racing. I'm Jonathan Horowitz, the announcer at Arapahoe Park. When it came to that most famous of horses, Mr. Ed, it was said, a horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. But what if the horses at Arapahoe Park could talk about themselves? Well, they wouldn't just say, a horse is a horse, of course, because there are three very different breeds of horses that race at Arapahoe Park. There are more than 130 racetracks in North America, but Arapahoe Park is one of only 8 that races thoroughbreds, quarter horses, and Arabians. On this episode of Gates Open at Arapahoe Park, we'll introduce you to thoroughbreds, quarter horses, and Arabians, including a closer look with one of the few jockeys to ride all three breeds, Travis Wales. Arapahoe Park stars in each breed are taking their success outside Colorado. For thoroughbreds, there's Get Happy Mister. He's undefeated in all 9 of his races at Arapahoe Park, ranging in distances from 5/8 of a mile to 1 1/8 miles. Owned by Annette Bishop, trained by Butch Gleason, and ridden by jockey Mike Ziegler, Happy put an exclamation point on the best season a thoroughbred has had at Arapahoe Park in the $100,000 Arapahoe Park Classic, the richest race Arapahoe Park holds for thoroughbreds.
Colorado can rejoice in its hometown hero. Get Happy Mister, never been beaten at Arapahoe Park, and no win bigger than this Arapahoe Park Classic.
Then he went to the big stage in California and won the $100,000 Grade 3 San Simeon Stakes against the best turf sprinters in the state.
On the inside, here's Get Happy Mister. Get Happy Mister down the center. Holy Loot. Suddenly the whole picture changes. Get Happy Mister at the rail. Holy Loot, the grey on the outside. Gonna hit it together. Get Happy Mister in front. Get Happy Mister has won it.
For quarter horses, there's Toshiyoshi. He's been pure speed sprinting up the Arapahoe Park home stretch in victories in the 2014 Cherry Creek Futurity and the 2015 Lucille Road Derby for jockey Ramiro Garcia, trainer Manuel Orozco, and owner Dana Yoshida Orozco.
Toshiyoshi starting to kick into gear. El Carboncito running a strong race. Toshiyoshi showing his class, taking the lead, and going on to win the Cherry Creek Futurity and Lucille Road Derby double.
For Arabians, there's Miss Dixie. Epitomizing the breed's propensity for endurance, the gray mare became the first horse in the history of Arapahoe Park to win 2 stakes races in 2 days, the 2014 Cobra Distaff Sprint sponsored by Soaring Eagle Ranch, and the next day, the Cobra Classic sponsored by Crow Valley Ranch. She's owned by the Quarter Moon Ranch of Lori Powell and husband trainer Scott Powell, and has been ridden by 5 different jockeys in her 4 years of racing at Arapahoe. The 3-time Darley Award winner as a United States Arabian champion has returned in 2015 with a big win in the Cobra Distaff Sprint to become the first horse in the track's history to capture the same stakes race 4 times.
The first time in the history of Arapahoe Park that a horse has won the same stakes race 4 years in a row. It's Miss Dixie who goes on to win the 4th Cobra Distaff Sprint for her.
Here's a comparison of the characteristics of the thoroughbred, quarter horse, and Arabian breeds that race at Arapahoe Park. The Arabian breed is the ancestor of all the other breeds. Arabian horses are relatively smaller than the other breeds. They don't reach as quick a top speed, but they are the best cruisers. They can run all day. Arabians are an endurance breed. Arapahoe Park's Arabians have won Darley Awards as U.S. champions, and some of the top Arabian races that are part of the Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan Global Arabian Horse Flat Racing Festival. Quarter horses derive their name because their optimal distance is 1/4 of a mile. Instead of endurance, they run the equivalent of drag races. They're not the biggest breed, but they're the most powerful. In the country's richest quarter horse race, the All-American Futurity at Ruidoso Downs in New Mexico, $2 million is on the line, over 440 yards. It's all settled in 21 seconds. The origin of the thoroughbred breed was purely for racing purposes, and it's the most well-known racing breed in the United States, with the biggest spotlight coming during the Triple Crown and the Breeders' Cup. Thoroughbreds combine speed and power, and when they put it all on the line, whether for the richest of stakes races or the grittiest of claiming races, They're some of the most beautiful, mesmerizing, and engaging athletes in the world.